What's going on, guys? It's your boy, the Entertainment here. It's Entertainment on the side, Tiger01 on Twitter. I'm just getting ready to watch the third ODI between Bangladesh and New Zealand. Happens at the Saxon Oval in Nelson in New Zealand. But yeah, just here to give you. I've been actually meaning to do this for a while, but it just kept slipping my mind. So I thought, you know what, just get a quick video out of this and basically finish off the year. So I'm recording this just before the ODI, like about 18-17 minutes left for the match to start. So you might see this on the 31st of December in United States Eastern time. Okay, but I'm here to give you my personal review of Doom 2016. I played on the PS4. All I have to say is this: it brought my love back for first-person shooters. And yes, Doom is a classic. I'd say it's a classic first-person shooter. Call of Duty is more of an advanced first-person shooter, but what Doom did here is stay loyal to what Doom was. Excuse me. Yeah, like especially Doom 1 and 2. It stayed very loyal to what Doom was. Guys, in my X360, you don't know how long I've downloaded and played, the original Dooms, even in their hardest versions. I freaking love that game. Like even games like what you call it, Duke Nukem 3D. Okay, yeah, at times I thought it got a little corny and cheesy, but overall, I kind of liked it. Duke Nukem Forever is another story, and it's mostly a tragedy story. But that's not the case here with Doom. Yes, there's some sort of a semblance of a story where you are not a space marine, but you are actually, I believe you were sort of like a hero of antiquity or something like that. You were referred to as the Doomslayer, and after you cause one sort of massacre in hell, you're locked away, and then you're resurrected again by basically I believe it was the head researcher of USC called Samuel Hayden. And basically, the entire game you are actually chasing, I think so, his assistant or something, Olivia Pierce, into back and forth from basically our Earth dimension. I won't say Earth because I believe this takes place on Mars. So back and forth from our Earth dimension, from our dimension and the dimension of hell. You have your you have two of your classic bosses. You have your Cyber Demon, you have your Spider Mastermind. What you don't have is the Barons of Hell. Like as bosses. You have something called Hell Guards, which honestly I think is much harder than the Barons of Hell, because especially the second phase, because here the bosses have two phases. The initial phase is usually very easy. The phase after that becomes very hard. And me personally, the hardest one I have fought was, I'll actually, it's a toss-up between the Spider Mastermind and the Barons of Hell. Because honestly, the Spider Mastermind, I had to actually look through a walkthrough to actually figure out, because I'm legally blind, so to actually figure out where to hit the monster. I thought you just it's like the old Doom. You just hit him anywhere and it'll work. Like even in the legs. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to hit that bitch in the brain. It's Olivia Pierce apparently turns to Spider Mastermind. Sorry if I'm spoiling this for anyone, but yeah. By now I expect most of you who actually click this video to actually have played it, to its entirety. So yeah, it turns out you have to shoot the monster in its exposed brain, and it does some maneuvers that it makes it a bit hard to the brain doesn't stay at one particular fixed position. Let's just put it that way. Compare this to the original Doom. Holy crap. The Spider Mastermind was the easiest boss in the original Doom, honestly. Over here is perhaps the hardest boss. And I was satisfied with pretty much all the bosses. The Cyber Demon, the Hell Guards. I was satisfied with all of them. In terms of gameplay, did it get a bit redundant? At times, maybe, but then again, that is the whole premise of Doom. You know, you get wave after wave after wave of enemies. But over here, where the redundancy came is, it kind of worked like a Devil May Cry in some instance of God of War type of scenarios, where you have to clear an area full of enemies before passing over. Before moving over. The random enemies you will face. Well, I played this on the like I'm too young to die difficulty. Just to finish this. But the normal enemies you will find are usually possessed soldiers, and here possessed soldiers don't have guns, and imps. And over here, imps are very, especially when you're legally blind, and they tend to crawl on the ground a lot, and they tend to be a bit quick about it, and you can't exactly lock your sights on them. They're very, very irritating. So these are usually the enemies you will face. The more sinister enemies like the Revenant, the Hell Knight, the Mancubus or the Mancubi. Yes, they'll come usually at these checkpoints where you have to clear an area of you're basically locked in an area with your enemies, and you have to clear the area of the enemies. Just to get away from that area. Sometimes even backtracking, does not become an option. Just a moment. All right, I have some time. Right. And speaking of the enemies, okay. Here's another thing I liked. They actually made the enemies much more difficult to kill. Like, let's say in the first Doom, if you find a Pinky, or it was called a demon, but it's called a demon or a Pinky. It's that thing with those huge legs. With those huge legs that they just their type of attack is just come bite you. They try to bite you. That's all they do. If you find a Pinky over here, oh my God, they are very hard to kill. Basically, I believe there's this sort of pig type creatures. They actually charge at you like raging bulls, and don't try to outrun them because they are much faster than you. So the tactic, I found out, after some trial and error and watching some people, the tactic is to go behind them and shoot them. And yes, being fast, they are clumsy, but if they hit you, they actually do a good amount of damage. You have enemies that can jump. Yes, the fat Mancubi, they can jump. You have I believe the Revenants. Do you have Revenants who can fly? Then you have other flying demons I believe one of them is I forgot what it's called. It's the one that not fly. That one actually teleports and shoots like pink fireballs at you. That one, and you have your lost souls and whatnot. You have your specters and whatnot. You have your very bothersome cacodemons, because for some reason they seem much stronger in this game. Okay. Who else you got? Um, yeah, I think. Well, you don't. Well, let's put it this way: you don't have your chain gunners. You have something in their place, but they're not your standard chain gunners or possessed shotgunners. You have something else in their place. You have your specters as well. One thing I did not see is I forgot this one's name. This is in I believe it might be in Doom 2 exclusively. Maybe in Doom, but it might be exclusively in Doom 2. It's that demon that actually the demon can actually attack you from a very far distance. And what it does is it creates a fireball around you, burning you, and then there's a huge explosion. The only way to escape its attack is to get out of its line of sight. That's the only way to escape its attack. I did not find this demon over here. Well, I didn't download the DLC, but I did not find this demon over here. Okay, so apart from the main campaign and the story ended with a cliffhanger. As expected, like if you play the story, you could see this cliffhanger coming. Yeah, the story ended with a cliffhanger. So expect a Doom 2 to be released, and you have 13 of the classic maps from Doom 1 and Doom 2. I would have enjoyed the Spider Mastermind map as well, but that's not there. But you have your and also the Icon of Sin map. I didn't find that. I don't think I found that as well. But yeah, you have your you have your Baron of Hell match. You know, the map, the Phobos anomaly, and you have your Tower of Babel. And these seem like monsters from Doom 3. These seem like the rendered monsters from Doom 3. And yes, you are in these settings with this, with this Doom 2016 setup, minus a few things such as equipment, such as your equipment and whatnot, and your weapons. You cannot add mods to them. They're unmodded weapons, such as so your rocket launcher. You cannot create your homing rockets. You can't do that. But other than that, I would give this game a solid 8 out of 10. I would have expected the campaign to be a little longer personally, and I would have expected much more classic maps, and the option of playing in the classic maps as the classic Doom guy. But other than that, and the multiplayer, I don't play multiplayer because trust me, asking a legally blind guy to play a first person shooter multiplayer game is it's just out of the question. So I don't play the multiplayer. So like someone else might be able to give you a better take on it. But yeah, I give the game an 8 out of 10, and I'm really looking forward to Doom 2 if they release it. If they release it, hands down, I am buying it. And if you haven't already, and if you're a fan of Doom, guys, I strongly recommend play this game. It is some very enjoyable gameplay. Let me tell you, the solo campaign, very enjoyable, very challenging if you like the original Doom. Right, looking forward to comments and suggestions. Please subscribe to this channel at TanTiger. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, and follow me on Twitter at TanTiger01 and CTime1 signing out.